Hello, everybody. Welcome to a live solo version of Breaking the Grade. Alvin, if you can give me the thumbs up that we are live across LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, that would be helpful. We are 4 minutes late getting in here because we're all still adjusting to time zones. I don't know about you guys, but when the clocks change, the whole world seems to kind of get out of whack. So we were playing a video. We had to stop that video so we could go live here. And if you were watching that video, which was last week's LinkedIn Live about nailing conferences, we'll replay that after. It only underscores the fact that this is live TV, baby. This is live TV. We are live, Alvin says. Well, he said that to me in our private chat. Probably didn't say it to you. But if you want to hop into our chat, go for it, please. Tell us where you are in the world, your business, your name, of course, is always helpful, your LinkedIn URL. Speaking of where the heck are you in the world, am in beautiful, and I mean beautiful and magical, and my favorite place on earth, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. As you can tell, I am not where I was last week. Last week I was in Canada. Fantastic. Toronto's wonderful. Love Toronto. I recorded last week in the room of a professor, and it looked like it. And now I'm recording in what used to be, I believe, the room of a one-room house. And now it's just a part of a beautiful home on Montes de Oca here in San Miguel de Allende. So if you get a chance, check out San Miguel de Allende and you'll see where I am. What we're going to talk about today is where you guys are when it comes to your demos. And if you have been a part of Breaking the Grade or any of our chances to come together as a community, a 3E community, you know that I have an allergy to demos. And it's kind of funny that I say that because I literally was born with allergies. Ragweed, milk. Yeah, the list goes on and on. I've outgrown a lot of those allergies. But what I have not outgrown is my allergy to demos. And this idea of an allergy to demos kind of kicked off our first show, which was about your demo. And in that show, we called it the better demo method. And I'll talk about the better demo method. And then we thought, no, now we need to do kind of a follow-up. And that's how we came up with this show. They love the demo. Why didn't they buy? What education buyers actually want. So what we believe is that you followed the better demo method. Let me recap what the better demo method is. The better demo method starts with district-specific research. The better demo method, you anchor to one urgent pain. The better demo method is telling the transformational story for your perfect client, meaning not where they are, they know where they are, but showing them where they can go if they work with you. The better demo method means that if you have to show them your platform, and it is my least favorite thing that I hear. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? If you have to show them your platform, you show them only relevant features based on what they have said are their pain points. And the better demo method means you end with clear next steps and an actual ask. I emphasize that. An actual ask and clear next steps. Keyword being clear, keyword being clarity. Because a lot of times what people have happen in the better demo method is they follow it. So thank you, because we're hearing from people who say, yes, I'm following the better demo method. Fantastic. We're happy for you. In fact, this. People are cheering for you. In fact, we're cheering for you. We're happy for you. You're following the better demo method. So your demos are going better. However, you're still not closing. So the problem isn't the demo, it's actually what happens next. And what we ended up hearing is that people are having good demos, people are nodding, they're getting the praise, but what they're not getting is the contracts to close. So today what we're going to talk about is why great demo might mean no deal. What superintendents or presidents of colleges, what they actually need from your pitch. Why a better demo also needs a better offer. The 5 things your buyer is scanning for, because they are looking for specific parts of your demo. And if they don't see those 5 things, you're probably not getting to get me a contract. We're going to talk about real founder transformations. We're going to talk about Paul and Catherine and Wayne. And I'm happy to take questions you might have. So if you have questions, ask them in the chat. First thing I want to talk about, this is too bad, is that praise isn't pipeline. Your demo goes well. They give you the head nod, the kudos, the smiles, all those wonderful things, but then you get silence. You get, we'll circle back. Let me talk to my team. That's not a maybe. Actually, guys, that's a polite no. The challenge is you demo the product, but they're actually not shopping for a product. They're shopping for a partner. The people you're talking to don't want a product. They want a partner. So even if you follow the better demo method, and thank you if you do, it might not convert if the buyer can't retell your value to their team. They have to be able to retell your value to their team. If the pitch has no urgency, you need to give some urgency. We need to solve your problem now because this will happen for you. The solution feels like just a product and not a system, not a repeatable system, not something that can happen every single school year. And you leave them interested, but not thinking this is essential. Those are 2 very different things. So if your demo is clear, but your promise is vague, you're going to lose every time, guys. You're going to lose every single time. Let's talk about Paul King. Paul King's a client of mine. Paul King's a friend of mine, minus his love of Philadelphia sports. Paul King has been on the show. He's a friend of the show. Paul King might be listening because he just texted me. Let's talk about Paul King. So Paul used to say, we lift Algebra 1 pass rates in schools stuck under 50%. Sorry, let me reverse that. Paul King would say, potentially, we help your school with their Algebra 1 Regents pass rates. Very vague, no promise. When he shifted to, We lift Algebra 1 pass rates in schools stuck under 50%. That's very clear. That does the trick. So as Paul is doing his demos, and he's doing it the better demo way, he's giving the audience, and sometimes his audience is in person. It's becoming more and more that way because he's getting an opportunity to speak on stages. We love to see that. He's giving them 5 things during the pitch. 1, clarity. You want to really test clarity, and you can do this before you walk out of a door or before you leave a Zoom. Ask the person you're talking to, can you describe for me what I can do for you? Because you want them to be super clear on your offer and how you help them. And you want them to be able to demonstrate that or at least say it to their team. Here's a bad one. Here's a bad example. We do data-driven student support through aligned analytics. If somebody said that, and after you had said, hey, can you repeat it back for me? You would say, eh. But if they say, you help schools cut chronic absenteeism by 30% in 90 days, they got it. They know what you do. They know the transformation. Bad. Our platform supports intervention strategies. Bad and boring. Say, we show your team exactly which students are about to disappear and how to get them back. That's transformational. Number 2, what you have to have is proof. You don't need 10 testimonials. Doesn't hurt. You need 1 clear before and after. And you need to have a before and after. That's really important. We've been working in our cohort 11 on our signature solution. And it's not enough to identify the problem for your perfect client. You need to identify the problem and show them the transformation that can occur. And so when you have that proof and that transformation that you have helped somebody do this, then that helps your buyer to see what can happen for them. Let's think about Catherine. She had no real traction on LinkedIn. Now, you guys know she treated LinkedIn like a gym. She went 3 to 5 times a week. And by doing that, and by demonstrating the results she was getting for the high schools, other high schools started reaching out saying, can you tell me more? And most of our clients and members of our community in the Ed Sales Elevation Experience, they don't necessarily need help closing to a degree, but they really need more top of funnel. They need more leads. And when you are putting out into the world that you have helped people go from this to that, and they are your perfect client, they will lean in and say, tell me more. You need urgency. Why now? Why not next semester? Buyers are going to delay by default. We do that. I'm doing it right now for a coach that I'm considering. You got to give your buyers a reason not to delay, a real reason, not just a made up one. You could say, we only have 3 pilots. You could say, here's a bonus that will expire. Bonuses are a wonderful way to create urgency. Don't say we're available anytime. We're ready to lock in when you can. Because people will just say, great, I'll let you know. Eesh. I'll let you know. You don't want to hear, we'll let you know. But if you create urgency, people will lock in. You want to make sure that you identify fit, whether you're in K-12 or you're in higher education. You want the buyer to feel seen. Okay. We work with rural school districts that don't have full-time intervention staff. That means that you are letting them know that you work with school districts like theirs, not just any school district. We built this for schools where one counselor serves 300 kids. That buyer feels seen. And then they know that you know that you can help a school like theirs where one counselor serves 300 kids. You have to provide confidence. And this isn't just about tone, it's about structure. Your message should sound like a system, not just services, a system. I'll give you a bad example. We do tutoring, mentoring, and SEL training. That's bad. We walk your students through a 3-step system that increases graduation rates by 22%. You have a system at that point. So I want to recap. What your buyers are looking for is clarity, proof, urgency, fit, and confidence. Now, pitches that convert are ones that show and don't just tell. Pitches that convert are ones that show and don't just tell. So in your demo, you also need to lead with their language. We build data dashboards. Boring, not effective. What is effective? We show you exactly which students are slipping through the cracks. Okay, I'm listening. That's helpful. I need to know that information. You need to state the stakes. Let people know what's at risk if you don't do this. Make it very real. And again, you are making it real for them because you, A, want to put it out there, but B, you want them to know that you are a subject matter expert. You need to introduce your offer. And in our community, that's known as a signature solution. You need to name it, you need to frame it. We've had some phenomenal signature solutions. Paul King has one of them, his passport program. His passport program takes schools in New York City who are struggling with their Regents exam to a passing rate. Boom. You want to know more? Let's talk. I could list a whole other number of signature solutions that provided clear offers to the perfect client. Name it and frame it. You need to show proof. This is one that's a little bit tough for some of our clients, especially the ones that are more introverted. When you show proof, you are not bragging, you are illustrating. Think of it that way. That's the reframe on this. When you show proof, you are not bragging, you are illustrating. For example, in our last pilot, 83% of students returned to class within 2 weeks. That proof, when illustrated, is helpful for you and for your buyer. You want to make now the obvious move for them. Again, creating urgency. So I am, again, happy to hear from the folks that we work with that they've loved the demo part 1. And I think it's really important that people now focus on demo part 2 because we heard from people, hey, the demos are improved, but we're not closing. So I want to give you some action items for you to use. First of all, you need to map that post-demo flow. You need to map that post-demo flow. Every follow-up next step, should be planned in advance. Momentum dies when leads wait. You all know it. It's happened to you and you've done it to other people. If you drop the baton, you might lose the deal. Now, that does not mean that you are sending email after email, that you are making call after call. You might just be commenting on a LinkedIn post. You might be sharing in your LinkedIn a win of one of your clients. The wins of your clients are really the reason that your perfect client is buying from you. That's you holding that baton. Okay. I want you to think about as an action item to reframe your offer into outcomes. Buyers don't care about features. That is the main reason I have an allergy to demos, because demos are traditionally just about features. Boring. Boring. Hold on. It's okay. I tried. I got to get better at using the sound machine. Reframe your offer into outcomes. Buyers don't buy because of features. They care about results. Show them exactly what success looks like. You need to show your perfect client what success looks like because they want that success. You just speak the buyer's language. Most demos fail because the founders speak their language and not the buyer's language. Hear the difference? You need to speak your buyer's language and not your own language. And the reason you end up speaking your buyer's language is because you've been listening to them. That's the value of our Raise Your Hand campaign. You guys have heard about that. You've seen a show about it on Breaking the Grade. When you hear what they say, you can use their words and use their language. That will move you from presenting to connecting. Okay? You need to create controlled urgency. That's an action item. Create controlled urgency. What I mean by that, limited pilots, clear timelines, and clear next steps. Because when those things aren't clear, your buyers, they begin to act without feeling we need to do this. And when those things aren't clear, you don't close the deal. Now, let's think about why wouldn't you let them know you have limited pilots and you have a timeline and you have clear next steps? The reason you wouldn't do that is because you don't want to push anything. Well, guess what, guys? You kind of got to push a few things ahead. You don't have to be pushy, you don't have to be salesy, but you have to be clear that you only have a limited amount of space, that you have a timeline, and that you do have clear next steps. And if you don't have those things, you need to get them in place. Think of it this way. You have a puppy. If you don't have boundaries for that puppy, limitations, timelines of when they need to go to the bathroom or rest, then that puppy's going to act crazy. Boundaries are important. And the last action item I'm going to describe here is you need to follow through with precision. A nod during the demo is not a contract. Every touch point you have after that must reinforce value and move the conversation forward. Now, you don't have to do it again in a salesy or a pushy way, but you have to provide value in every interaction and you have to move the situation forward. For example, I am working on landing a new client. Super excited to work with them. Very well known in the education space. We're moving along at a nice rate, and we'll probably start coaching in January. But I wanted to let them know that the sooner we can start coaching, the better, because they want to start closing district level deals for fall of 2026. Now, we can start in January, and that's fine. And I'll guarantee the results as I always do. But the sooner that we can start, the faster we can get to selling to these school districts the way we want to. So that can start next week. And therefore, from a 12-week standpoint, we could theoretically be done by late January, early February. And if you guys know the school timeline, that's really important. If we start in January, February, March, we're done in early April. That's cutting it close, big time. Now, this particular client has a lot of experience in the space, so I think they're a little bit ahead of the game here, especially when it comes to credibility in their offer, but still, sales is sales in the education space. We can't change the timeline. So, everybody, I hope that it's been clear to you why we did better demo method 1 and better demo method 2. The two are very connected. A lot of folks told us they followed better demo method 1, helping me to cure my allergy. But what they weren't doing is some of the other actionable items that we provided. So let me give you some quick takeaways. Interest doesn't equal action. The follow-up is kind of that hidden demo. You need to frame the offer around outcomes and not features. Urgency wins without pressure. You can do that. And confidence converts. Confidence converts. So I am live, as I said, from San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. It's beautiful here. So I'm going to cut this LinkedIn Live a little bit short so I can get out and enjoy this beautiful sunshine in this beautiful part of the world. I will join you guys next from Washington, D.C. In between now and then, I'm going to New Mexico to be with the good folks at IEI, Doug Roberts, Tiffany Law, Christina, and the team. But today, I'm in Mexico. So I'm going to go out and enjoy Mexico. I appreciate you joining me. If you have any questions on your demo, let me know. You can always find me on LinkedIn. You can always find me via email, jc@joshchernikoff.com. I thank Alvin for joining me, doing a fantastic job as we navigate time zones. Let's make sure your demos are better. Let's make sure that you're closing after those demos as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a great day. We'll see you next time in Washington, D.C. after a stop at IEI in New Mexico. Adios.